Monster FPV fam, thanks for tuning in again. Today we are planning to kind of redo an old classic, and this old classic is TBS Discovery. TBS Discovery has been initially made about 10-11 years ago, 2012, 2013 from what I can gather, and it's been a pretty much revolution in FPV world. Yeah, so this time what we're gonna do, and we obviously still using the old frame, but we are planning to put the new DJI O3A unit in the TBS Discovery. TBS Discovery released two different models of this. Now one of them was TBS Discovery Pro, which came with a gimbal, so the GoPro was spinning on the sides, and then the second one, or the very first one should I say, was this frame here. Now this frame doesn't come with any gimbals or anything like that. However, that's what we want in FPV world these days, right? We just want a steady camera, and we just want to we always want to cruise. So what we've got is I've managed to pick this up from a marketplace from a guy for 100 Australian dollars. Now pretty much everything was here, so he purchased it and he didn't actually finish it. He started the build, but he didn't actually finish it off. Now what we've got here, we've got the whole bottom and the top plate. Now this thing is actually quite big. If you look at this, you know, it's actually quite large. I'll remove one of the arms because I want to show you frame itself. In the past they used to install the DJI NASA Lite, or I think a NASA 2 or whatever it was. At the front they had the back. The back was it's obviously like a voltage transformer, so it steps down voltage for certain parts. Now these days we don't really use any of that stuff, so we have obviously evolved technologies, got better, put a 30 by 30 stack, which I have here, which we'll talk about in a second, and we're still going to try to use all the original parts. Okay, so we've got the arms. Now the arms, I've got my measuring tape here. Now the arms are around sort of 22 centimeters, which is close to 9 inches, and the whole build from side to side is, if you can see that, 50 it's 50 centimeters, so 500 mil. So we're looking at, you know, a fairly large quad here, right? Now this quad, the TBS Discovery original motors are 750 kV motors, spin fairly large propellers. So I still got the very much original carbon fiber props, the grandpa, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but those props are 9.5 inch props. So there we go. 9 inch props. So look, I don't know exactly what flight time I'm gonna get out of this. This is purely for a play around and see if we can resurrect the old dinosaur. And so inside the kit, what we've got also is we've got the standoffs, so the spacers, if you want to call it. Basically, what else we've got? Oh, the motors. So for the motors, we've got and they look hideous, I think, because they just stick out like sore thumb, but they come across on top of the motor. Oh, let me just show you on this one here. So that will basically go up here, locks in place, and then screws in. So like, not exactly sure how they were thinking, what were they thinking about this, but like, it's pretty cool design for, you know, 11, 12, you know, plus years ago. But it's a quite old design. The motors are still obviously brushless motors, which are really good. And hey, if it breaks, it breaks. If it works, I'll be wrapped, you know. So for today's build, what we're trying to do is obviously pop these in and extend. So like I normally do all my builds, so we are extending from the outside in. Yeah, so let me just attach this arm back and crush it back. Okay, so as you can see how big it is, it's 500 from here to there, 500 mil. So it's definitely built for long range flying. If I'm going to use this for long range, don't know. If it breaks, it breaks. I don't know if we can sort of still replace those arms because they're the old original DJI arms. So if you can see them. So basically, yeah. So the plan is put some LED lights on the bottom. So these ones will hopefully go on the bottom here, and cut all of these. So all of these will basically be snipped and then straight into these. So when the quad flies, it will be a nice lot of light emitting, and it's going to look pretty cool in the air. I won't bore you with the whole build. I will show you what I'm doing, but what I will show you is actually, before I'm still going to get the flight controller, I had this specifically built, printed. So this is the original one, and then this is the 3D print, because obviously the 03A unit is not going to fit the original mounting. So this is the new version of it. If you are building this and you do want a STL file for this, I'm more than happy to share that. I've printed this through a really good friend of mine, Jazz FPV. If you want to check him out online, he does some amazing 3D prints. He just upgraded this new printer. It's tip top anyway, but this is the new print. This goes basically at the front here, and the 03A unit will just sit in there. The GoPro sits on the side there, and a unit itself there. Okay, so we do have a fair bit of space in this. So the flight controller we're using is a Mamba 4K F22. This quad initially was designed for 3S and 4S batteries. These days, a lot of people fly 6S, yeah? So I'm gonna have a play with it on the 4S initially, and I'm gonna try to go with 6S on it. So we might have to limit the power a little bit depending on how hot the motors get, but obviously the flight controller ESCs can take it, and the only other thing is obviously just the motors that will be struggling. If they're getting too hot, we're gonna have to turn down the power a little bit through a beta flight, hopefully. Anyway, so the stack is 30 by 30, and what it does is perfectly fits in here. So where DJI NASA used to be, the stack will perfectly fit in here. So there's going to be a bit of mucking around to get it in, I think, as in with the right standoffs and everything else, but the stack will nicely fit in there. Now this stack has been designed for obviously 03A units as well, as far as I know, so we can plug directly everything in there, and yeah, just basically sit really nicely on top, as you can see. If I can get that up to the camera, so the stack fits perfectly 30 by 30. I'm not going to bore you with the whole build, however I will give you snippets if I come across any issues, any things that I need to modify. So initially it's just going to be basically cutting those bits and pieces off from old ESCs, extending them with, like I said, the LED strips, which are very, very easily sort of, you can purchase them anywhere, and extend the leads, obviously. So I've got my silicon leads. Oh yeah, so also we're setting up a crossfire on this as well. So crossfire is obviously the most popular setup. So the crossfire will be going most likely at the back, we do have a fair bit of space in here, so you know, like literally the whole thing can just sit nicely on the bottom without sort of touching anything. It will be pretty cool setup. This is not carbon fiber either. This is some sort of a composite material. I don't think it's gonna hold very well in a crash. However, you know, it's a good sort of, you know, play build and see how it goes. You know, for $100, picked up the whole thing, and if it doesn't work, just obviously use the stack for something else, and then build another sort of 5-inch quad. All right, let's get into the build. Hopefully there's not going to be major issues. Let's go. So looking at the wiring, it kind of looks like it's disintegrated a little bit. However, this shouldn't really affect the performance as far as we sort of can tell. Okay, so looking at the bottom lights, they do help obviously connect the motors to the ESCs, so that definitely has a big plus. So overall, the build turned out quite well. I had to mount the air unit at the front. There was just not enough cable enough for the mounting at the back, but I think it works quite well. I also had to flip the mount the other way around, so the camera actually sticks out a little bit more as GoPro interferes with the view. Also, the immortality is just sitting at the back. Yeah, so overall it's pretty good. The antenna just screws in, and nice and tight TPU just sits there holding everything together. So overall pretty good. Yeah, so happy with the overall build. If I had to do it again, probably just change the motors. The motors are a bit old now, and the new motors will definitely give you a lot more power and lift. But long range cruiser, it's pretty good. You can mount the GPS on it, and it will work quite well. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed. Give me a subscribe if you can, guys. Definitely helps motivate me more to make some more content. Alright, thanks. Enjoy the flying.